Welcome to another day of ASL Season 13. We're approaching the end. It's the third place match, and it's going to be Soma versus Bisu. An exciting ZVP. I'm, of course, joined by Scan. Scan?
Yes,
what do
I
you think
am
about
here.
this matchup? I'm sure we're going to have a translation.
Well,
Oh, no!
Oh, never mind. I guess we're not gonna be talking more of the final event schedule here. I guess yeah, we can talk about Soma and BC here, since Soma has played against Rain a couple days ago and how strong Rain was, and of course, BC and Rain were actually from the same team in the Casper era, SK Telecom, and they probably have somewhat similar play style. And I'm pretty sure Soma did learn his lesson from that game playing against Rain, and hopefully he got some feedback by other friends and how he should have played, or maybe how he could have played better next time. And hopefully Soma can make some, well, not specifically doing some revenge match, but kind of like beating the teammate up.
Yeah, and Soma had a good shot of taking that series versus Rain, but there were a couple games where it all fell apart from the DT harassment or the Templar drops in particular. And we know Bisu is well known for his harassment play, so the Rain matchup should have definitely been good warm-up, I guess. You can look at it in that sense for his series versus Bisu. You can see from this slide that actually the finals are going to be in person. So if you are in Korea, which I know some of you actually may be, you can get one of the tickets. I remember from the last cast they mentioned that there's 100 available seats. I don't know if they're available anymore. Hopefully you got one of them.
Well, now it shows 514 seats available.
Oh,
They're gonna be start selling it tomorrow, 5 p.m. KST. So yeah, that's gonna be a lot of audience for the final, and we haven't gotten to see ASL final with the audience for like almost 2 years after this COVID pandemic thing going on. A global pandemic. There you go.
Yeah, I went to Korea December 2019, and I actually only got to go to one event for StarCraft, which was fine. It was that like I don't necessarily know if it was the old timers event, but it was like it had Reach. Was it Yellow? I can't remember exactly, but there was a bunch of older players there too. And it was an enjoyable experience. I definitely recommend going to an event if you can. We saw the breakdown of the round of 4. We've got our epic finals, Light versus Rain in the finals, of course. And today, the third place match, you can see the map rundown. No surprise from the map picks here.
Well, we can see some common sense of how Soma wanted to choose, like Vermeer and Allegro. Both of the maps are really, really great once Zerg contains your opponent. With the Lurker container, like how Kemo was doing it. And of course, for Bisu, he decided to choose Revolver and Eclipse. And that's a decent looking stats from Soma's information. It's almost 70% win rate.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure this is unupdated, so it's slightly lower after the games versus Rain. But like I said, Soma played well in that series. It wasn't like he did anything poorly. It was just Rain played flat out better that day, and he's looking like a monster going into the finals. Now, meanwhile, on Bisu's side, of course, his PvZ statistics are going to be amazing. 62%.
That is
and of course, his a little
strong.
Yeah, his a little bit lower because of his results versus, was it Sulky? I'm already forgetting what the actual. No, he played versus Light. What am I thinking?
Bisu played against Light, and Bisu won against Queen in the round of 8. No, was it 8? Round of 8? I can't recall, but he played against someone in round of 8. Who did he play against?
It's not coming to me. Oh, JYJ. How do we forget JYJ?
Oh, yeah, we totally forgot about JYJ. Yeah.
It's a back-to-back PVTs for him, but now he's finally get a PVZ, which we know he's a Protoss versus Zerg expert. Wow, I'm so surprised that we're getting into the games already. I thought for sure we were going to have an interview, but I guess they're waiting for the actual winner to get an interview with. But we're going to be starting on Vermeer in just a moment. We don't have that many games played on Vermeer. The one game that comes to mind is, of course, our most recent one, which was Rain versus Soul Key. And Rain took that series, or took that map. So let's get into game one, Soma versus Bisu.
버미오에서 게임을 시작합니다.
Okay, in the top right position, our white Zerg player, it is Soma. And in the bottom right, our Protoss is Bisu. So you were telling us, of course, that Rain and Bisu were in SKT. What are some trends that you think we should expect to see here from Bisu and Rain?
Well, both of them are really, really great at using... The usage of the Corsair is a fantastic thing. Like, compared to the other products, like, you can see how other products players are kind of sloppy with their Corsair micro, or constantly getting picked up by the mass Hydralisk often. But every time when I see Bisu or Rain micros their Corsair, they never lose it, and they constantly hunt those Ovaler and turns opponent's supply into red, and that's a sign for that Zerg player cannot make any of a Scourge nor Hydralisk for a long time. And with that specific time, Bisu and Rain, both of them really aggressive playstyle and constantly hurting the opponent.
And we got to see the highest Zerg versus Protoss win rate. Soma was at the top, and look at this, Bisu also at the top. So we've got our two specialists facing off versus each other.
Ooh.
Ooh, this is going to be 12 Nexus, potentially blind from Bisu.
Yeah, I often always say, yeah, sometimes you have to do the blind 12 Nexus, and I guess Bisu is already ready to put down the blind 12 Nexus. And this is really one of the great strategy if you are doing it against Hatchery first, and also Overpull, Crossbound Overpull. It's also great because the rush distance is so far away that even Overpull cannot really do anything against it. And we can see now Soma moving out with the scouting drone, and he will be unhappy as soon as he sees the Nexus first.
Yeah, he's going to come in here and think to himself, man, blind 12 Nexus to start off the series? That's a tilter. We'll see what Soma wants to respond with, because remember, in our series versus Rain, we saw him go for fast hydrogen in the first two games, and you were mentioning that Hyuk was saying versus 12 Nexus, you can't do that.
Yes, that is correct, because, well, I'm not a Zerg player, but according to Hyuk's analysis, he says you can't really do anything with your Hydralisk aggression. Maybe you can take down the Forge and maybe a single gateway, but you can't really break or even go for the trade against those mass cannon, and your tech is already delayed. And meanwhile, Protoss started off with the 12 Nexus having lots of probe in the early stage and just overcome easily.
Well, I like what we're seeing from Soma. It's an interesting gas timing. This was a 235 extractor, and I'm thinking back to all the games we saw of him just the other day. I don't remember a single game where he got gas this fast. Every single game was like a 245 gas or 255. This is probably still going to be Lair, but I would like to see what he wants to put this gas into. And there it is. It is going to be straight Lair, but slightly faster than previous games versus Rain.
325 Lair, that's really fast compared to, well, I wouldn't say compared to Bisu's cybernetics core, but normally you usually start your Lair at 3 minute 40ish to 50ish second with your overpull build, but with this 12 hatchery and not without any Zergling production, this Lair is really fast. But the cybernetics core is still fast for Bisu because he's able to skip all those Zala production and the second cannon and getting all those cybernetics core really fast. And like I said numerous of time, your Spire must start when the Stargate is 50% done. If your Spire starts later than later than when Stargate is 50% done, then you just kind of have to be relying on Hydralisk. But with the lair tech and I'm putting down the Hydrodent, you have more opportunity of switching around with your build order and even get your lurker out much faster, or even the overlord speed really fast.
Well, the first Zealot gets into the sweet spot and he's going to trade very effectively, but the Lings actually find a good spot too. 2 Lings get non-stop hits on it, and there's that Spire as you mentioned, and it is about half, well, actually the Stargate is going into double Stargate, and you know, this is what I was thinking, or was wondering what we're going to see from Bisu, because if you think about the Rain games, we actually had fast Citadel in at least half of the games. So already we have a bit of a deviation here. Bisu's just going to go straight into the double Stargate, and the only time we saw this from Rain's games was the Monopoly game, where he opened Citadel and followed up with double Stargate.
Did they play on Monopoly? I can't really recall. I can't really recall, but yes, double Stargate is very strong if your opponent plays those heavy Mira Scourge playstyle and skipping your Hydrogen for a long time. And we can see from right now by Soma putting up that second extractor and another building at the natural, so that is a Hydra Dense. We still do not know with those Vespene gas he can still afford to put make some Mutalisk with some Scourge to push away those Corsair in the early stage of the game, or he can just make 0 Mutalisk and go for mass Hydra.
Yeah, I love when Zerg players make the 5 mutas so they can one-shot the probes and then switch into the Hydra play. It forces Protoss to still make a lot of Corsairs while not overdoing it. We still haven't seen any Zerg players go for like, well, we saw Sulky build a ton of Scourge, but we haven't seen anybody actually go for a kill with Mass Scourge and mutas. Now these Sairs are imperative that you save, and he will probably get that Sair away. I don't know about the top one, but Soma does save his Overlord too, which is fantastic for him.
Yeah, so this is a really great. I guess Soma did learn his lesson that he really needed to go for the lair attack first against the 12 Nexus, and this is how you're supposed to be responding to the Nexus first. And thing is, he's already making the 3rd gas. That's a sign that Soma is planning to go for heavy Mira Scourge build. And you can see he already made 5 Mira. 2 Scourges are chasing those Corsair. But he definitely does not know about this double Stargate production.
Yeah, for now he doesn't. He's not, I guess he may not be too sure how many Corsairs are actually stacked up there. But it is 6. One more round of Corsairs, I think, is the magic number at 7. And he's going to get out onto the map with them right now. There's a lack of Scourge right now, maybe just 2 to 4. So these could definitely rack up a lot of Overlord kills. But he has to be careful to not lose his Corsairs that easily. 1 falls down. Muta's going to get into the main, so we're going to have a counterattack from Soma, and his Muta's obviously attack ground, so this Nexus is actually in a big-time threat. 5 Mutas versus 1 Corsair. 1 Corsair is not going to win that fight, and all of a sudden, Bisu might start losing some probes.
Well, even though Soma got the supply block, but these number of Mutas have been doing such a nice job picking up some probe, even taking down the photon cannon, and those are still 5 Muta. They can still one-shot the probe, but I guess now Soma decided to split some of his Mutas, sacrificing, drawing the attention to the right side and save other remaining Mutalisks.
Yeah, and I think that was a very good counterattack from Soma. It was a good attack from Bisu too, though. Supply blocking Soma heavily. He was down to 37 available supply, so that was a massive supply block. Now Soma just becoming unsupply blocked, and he is already going into the Hydras. And that's what I was looking at, Scan, is I saw the lack of gateways in Bisu's main. If there's a big Hydra attack pretty soon, he may flat out just not have enough units. He's going to have to make it very chaotic with these Corsairs if he wants to keep the Zerg at bay. For now, Zerg is sitting back with his Hydras. Supplies are dangerously close, though, at 76 to 76.
Well, this is kind of dangerous for Bisu because Soma did not afford his mineral for another macro hatchery. Normally, once you're playing once you're playing into this mid game, you want to have 6 hatchery, but Soma skipped his 6 hatchery. He afforded all those mineral.
Uh-oh.
He afforded all those mineral for those heavy hydraless pressure, and even overlord speed at this time.
Yeah, and in typical Bisu fashion, he builds a single DT, but he gets picked
The
off, and that's
Templar
a forward
hard to
rally. Templar, what are you doing? That Templar is going to be gifted to Soma. There's only 4 cannons. There's like 25 Hydras here. There's no way probes and cannons can stop this. Now there's only 2 cannons. Zealot desperately trying to get into position, but as I stated, there's a lack of gateways. There's just 2 units, and Soma, he's going to bust this 12 Nexus, and this double Stargate was a huge misfire.
Yeah, this is what I really wanted to see from Soma from last week, because this is how you're supposed to be responding to 12 Nexus, and yeah, I guess he was somewhat stubborn doing no lair tag into Hydra then last week, so that was a bit unfortunate that he lost the rain, and I guess Bisu really expected, he kind of expected Soma to go for a heavy middle Scourge build, but it really wasn't. So that was a bad guessing game there by Bisu.
Yeah, so this time around, the double Stargate did not work out at all. And I've been seeing double Stargate more often these days, but I've never seen it just get absolutely picked apart like that. Like, there was no chance that Bisu had in that game unless he could have found some more Overlords. The lack of gateways really hurt him, and of course, the misrallied Templar didn't help him at all either. But even if the Templar had gotten to safety, it still had to build up that energy. So it just seemed like the gateway flood was slightly too late. Maybe he needed it like 20 to 30 seconds faster. I'm sure Bisu is aware of that. And if he opts for another double Stargate game, he will fix it. But that's it for game 1. We'll be going into a break, and look what's next. It's going to be Revolver. We are back. I'm sure we're going to be going into information with our host.
Okay, we are now gonna be moving into game number 2 of this ASL Season 13 third place match. But before that, we are going to take a look at this ASL Season 13 event. Of course, people who are making those highlight video of this ASL, you will be getting the ASL card wallet. 2 people will be getting, and if you are verifying to them that you are watching the ASL, you get the ASL mini humidifier. And also there's also Africa TV esports page where you can do the winners prediction event. If you get it correct, then you also get the ASL mini humidifier. And she's finishing it up of that event. And of course that's the mobile. I'm pretty sure that's the mobile, how you're supposed to be opening up that tab and showing how you're supposed to be betting. And we can see from there the winner's prediction from this Africa TV esports page. People are voting for Bisu. 51% of the people chose for Bisu and 49% for Soma. But so far from what I saw from the game number 1, I think Soma is just playing really well there. Learned his lesson from last week. And of course, ASL Season 13 Finals, it is going to be cast on April 9th, Saturday, 6 PM Rain versus Light. It is going to be best of 7. And do not forget, it's going to be 1 hour ahead than usual, 6 PM KST. People who live in Korea or traveling in Korea wants to see ASL Season 13 Finals, then there are selling 514 seats available starting from April 6th, 5 PM. And of course that's the studio where they're going to be casted, which is the Sangam Coliseum. So they're also going to be doing some the lottery event, on offline event. So people who get the lottery, then they will get the ASL jersey shirt. 2 people will get the jersey shirt, 5 people will get the mini humidifier. And of course, Soma and Bisu definitely strong players, but they're now ready. We're gonna be moving into game number 2 momentarily.
Thank you for the translation scan, and not very surprising to me to see that poll. Bisu slightly ahead with the 51%. He's had a huge following for several years, and he's a monster. But speaking of Zerg monsters, there he was just a moment ago. Soma crushing it with an overwhelming amount of Hydras right before the power spike kicked in with the Gateway Flood for Bisu. So really slick timing. But now I'm curious what we're going to see on Revolver, because we know this is a great Protoss map. We saw Rain pull out double Proxy Kate in the center of the map, and I'm sure that's on Soma's mind, that he may see it from another SKT T1 Protoss player. But we also saw Standard play just the other day where it was just a straight up, was it Nexus into Forge? I think it was actually. So let's get into game 2 and see what Bisu has cooked up.
리볼버 SE에서 게임을 시작합니다.
Okay, in the top left, already up 1-0 in our series, it is Soma. And in the bottom left, trying to make a 12 Nexus work in game 1 and backfiring, it is Bisu. So Revolver here, we've got vertical spawns. We know this is a close rush position. You think we might see Gateway expand here?
Well, I don't really know what Bisu will be doing, but he just does everything. Sometimes he likes to go for Forge and go for Cannon Rush if he ever gets to find the opponent first with the 12 hatchery, then he will be going for the Cannon Rush. But let's take a look what Bisu will be doing. If he send out the Pro immediately after that pylon, then it's most likely going to be the pylon Forge expand. And his pylon, okay, yeah, he's gonna be sending out immediately, so I can expect from Bisu here that he will be doing Forge expand most likely.
Okay, Forge expand. Now that pylon seemed a little late. He had almost 40 minerals when he put it down, but in fact I often see Protoss players build their pylon somewhat late in my opinion. I thought it might be like a 9-gate follow-up, but the fast scout is going to mean that, of course, it's not going to be the 9 gate, and he does find Soma first, and it's going to be overpull, and I imagine that this is going to be the forge that you were talking about.
Yeah, here's the probe constantly harassing at the behind of the mineral line, and I still do not see Bisu sending out the probe. Should be sending out the probe right now to put down the forge, because this is a vertical spawn, and whenever it's a vertical spawn, the rush distance is shorter than usual. Like the horizontal matchup or cross spawn matchup, the rush distance is farther. But yeah, he's definitely putting down the forge, and this probe is delaying Soma's hatchery as much as possible.
Yeah, so smart move to put down the forge first, and I'm always interested to see the forge position on this map in particular, because everybody seems to have a different positioning for it. Now, the first time I saw this map ever, it was very close to where the Nexus actually was, and people were just defending with Gateway, and I think Cybernetics followed, but it allowed you to save the forge if there was a Hydra bust. This time around, forge is at the very, very far entrance, so if there is a Hydra bust, I'm sure that will be picked off, and obviously Bisu is aware of that. First 2 Lings are out. It's only 2 though, so no need for a secondary cannon, and that is just going to be typical Gateway follow-up. And there's, again, a somewhat quick gas. It's going to be a 245 gas this time around.
Yeah, I hit that gas. It's not as fast as the last game, but still relatively fast in this game number 2 with the overpull. But the thing about this map that you have to understand is the natural is a high ground for Bisu, that he can actually stop the Hydralisk Bros from attacking from the low ground here. So also, even if you want to go around all the way to Bisu's 3rd expansion and start poking those forge and gateway, yes, you may be able to take down those buildings, but it just requires so much of an action in order to take down the building, and of course it's a waste of time. You don't want to do that, and we can see Soma is starting off the lair tech immediately at his 3rd expansion, so I like this idea.
Yeah, and those extra few seconds to get into position with a Hydra bust could be all the time Bisu needs to get, completed cannons in time, Templar to have energy like last game. If that Templar got rallied back to its natural and could have built up 10 more seconds of energy, I mean, that could have been a difference maker there. Lair at the 3rd base, as you pointed out, means that we are not going to see a Hydra Den, or at least an attempted Hydra bust. And we know Soma has that in the arsenal because he tried it twice versus Rain, building the Hydra Den in a sneaky spot. First Zealot moving across the map. For now, there's only 2 Lings, and I like how he sent out the probe at the same time. It's not only going to get another scout, but also draws Lings out of position. And behind this, it is just going to be the typical Stargate follow-up, and no second Stargate, at least just yet.
Soma is doing great with the optimization, with the timing of the Zergling when he really needs it. And this is one of the Zealot will be picking up another Zergling. So picking up two Zerglings for 1 Zealot. Not sure whether that was a good trade for him.
Well, second Zealot gets spotted by Lings, but Soma didn't notice it. So this one may sneak into the 3rd base, and there's no defense. And this... Oh, he already has speed, and he has a few Lings on the right side, so he may be able to run through the right side too. I think that's a full block, though, with the Forge and the Gateway, so maybe not. He does come in through the front, and he is going to sneak 2 more Lings into the main. But as I stated, that Zealot went unscouted, and it will start racking up some kills at the 3rd base. It's already forced all the drones to evacuate. Good probe control, hasn't taken any losses just yet, and he eliminates one of the Lings already.
Well, those Zerglings were sacrificed for nothing, I would say, because maybe he did pick up one or two pros, but the amount of damage and mining loss at the 3rd expansion is so huge that Soma just really needs to remake those number of Zergling once again, and those Zealots. I mean,
well,
it's just easily buying the time.
Yeah, and Soma did another round of Lings and even more Lings, and I'm getting flashbacks to one of our Sulky games, the Butter one, where he just flooded Lings and it just didn't work because the Sim City was already set up, and it's more Lings. And these Lings are not drones, and that's another drone that dies. So Soma's econ is going to be down in the dumps. Going into the mid game, he really needs to come up with something special to come back. But I'm just not seeing it right now. There's so many lings. Maybe another backstab could work out. Oh, killing the eggs. And Soma spotted, and he sees the Zealots move out. And this is exactly what he needs.
Well, the DT just came out on time, and those two probes were body blocking, not letting those Zergling to do the run by, and I guess this was a good decision making here by Bisu here. But the number of Zealots are about to go inside, and will Soma have enough army to fight against his army? But where is the Overlord?
Yeah, there's no Overlord. Even if he survives the Zealot attack, these drones are not long for this world with this DT that one-shots every unit on the ground that Zerg has right now. Sunken finishes, that's a great drone block to try and save the day. But the DT still sneaks in, and it's got 9 kills, and there's no Overlord here either. Wow, instant GG from Soma.
That's an instant GG. I guess Soma really wanted to play aggressively with his number of Zergling, but everything was just getting completely blocked, and yeah, everything just fell apart.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he saw that Zealot, but just, well, maybe not since it racked up so many kills at the third base. But I thought, okay, well, he'll trade Zealot pressure at his third base for pressure in the natural of Bisu and the main. And when the Lings got in, I thought, okay, maybe this can actually rack up some kills. It's super annoying for Protoss to deal with while also microing on the other side of the map. But no success for his Lings. I don't even know if it got a single probe kill. So Bisu's going to take a quick game 2 in this series. We're about to be in game 3 already. And when did we start? We started just 30 minutes ago. So very quick games from both sides, very aggressive openers.
And they're showing, I don't know whether we are going to be moving into the commercial break or going into the Hot 6 commercial break here. And of course I thought so. I was right. We are taking a look at this Hot 6 Korean commentary. We're going to be talking about those drinks.
Yeah, always watching Into the Rain. He's got this down to a science. It seems like he opens that can and it's gone before you can even blink. It's just gone so fast from him. But as far as these games, was it really just the Ling Flood that did him in last game, you think? Like, why do you think he built Lings? Because, as you stated, Hydras, it takes you're not going to bust the side of the gateways in the forge, but also the ramp is very tiny. Like, why do you think he would go for a Ling Flood there? It seems counterintuitive to do that.
Well, I guess he thought that he started off with the overpull and made only 2 Zergling in the beginning of the game, so he had some eco boost in the early stage of the game, and Bisu's first Zealot kinda were thrown at the Soma's third expansion, taking off 2 Zergling and then lost the Zealot, so Soma probably thought that he had an opportunity to do some semi all-in with the number of Zergling and go for like a harassment and then try to, there's a multitask battle there. But Bisu was on point. He just defended all those Zergling, and one of the other Zealot somehow sneak into Soma's third expansion, and that just single Zealot just snowballed so much that Soma wasn't able to fight back anymore.
Well, even though the Ling attack didn't work out, I do like when players have that killer instinct when they see a slight opening and they think they can abuse it. They just instantly go for the throat. There's not many people that have that killer instinct. Players that come to mind instantly are, of course, Zerg or Jaedong. So Bisu will need to be careful if he shows any type of vulnerability. You know that Soma may try and exploit that, and there we go. We've got the Hot 6 Into the Rain, opening it up, and it's already gone before our far right caster even takes a sip.
And that was really, really fast with drinking those the sports drink. And now we can see Custer Park is about to drink.
You know what I noticed? They always drink the same flavor. Into the Rain's got the red every single time. Castor Park's always got. Oh, Castor Park, he's down in it. It's gone already. He's always got the blue one, and he's got the pose. Watch, the pose is coming right here. There it is.
Well, I guess they love it. I guess they love those flavor. Probably there are small differences of the flavor with the color of the bottle, but I guess Into the Rain really loves the red one, and Castor Park loves the blue one. Not sure about the right guy, Castor Lee. I don't, I don't, I don't think I ever seen him drinking, but I guess we're gonna be moving to the commercial break. We'll coming back soon.
We're back, and we're gonna be going into map 3 momentarily. It is Allegro. And for some reason, this map stood out to me the most from the Rain Soma series. And the reason for that was Rain was constantly out on the map with just a small amount of units in almost every single game. But Allegro was the one game where Soma absolutely crushed Rain. I don't remember the exact build order, but there was just a ton and a ton of Hydras. It looked very familiar to what we just saw on Vermeer, where he just simply overran Bisu a moment ago. So if I was Soma here, I'd probably go for the same build that he opened with on Allegro because I remember it being very, very strong. Do you remember that game?
Well, I have watched so many games, so I can't remember what exactly happened on Allegro. But since it's a four-player map and somewhat similar to Vermeer, where you can do the lurker contain easily and not giving opponent to have a third nexus in the early stage of the game, so yeah, I would say for Soma, you should better go for 12 hatchery, even though you might there's a small chance that you might get a first scout by the pro, but it's only 33% for Bisu to find out first, so he should still do it.
Yeah, we'll see what Bisu comes up with. I wouldn't be surprised to see him go for a 12 Nexus again. It seems like that's what he wants to go for. And he's even planning for a 12 Nexus on Revolver. But after seeing that Soma was in the top left position compared to bottom right, for example, had to go into that forge, even with the overpool opener. And that would be something I keep in mind as Soma, is it seems that a lot of these Protoss players really are just trying to be very, very greedy. I would like to see a 4 pool or a 5 pool, but I mean, that's just me. I don't know how well that would fare versus someone like Bisu, but I would like to see a super aggressive play, but I highly doubt we're going to see that.
Yeah, I guess there's some of issue from Beast's equipment. I guess that could be the one of the reason why he keeps taking off and on of noise cancellation to hear what the ASL staff is saying. Hopefully the players are ready. Soma is already ready here. He is just being so calm. Okay, I guess now players are ready. We'll be moving into game number 3. Soma versus Bisu on Allegro.
알레그로에서 게임을 시작합니다.
Okay, in the top right, our Zerg player, it is Soma. And again, in the bottom right position, setting up another vertical spawn scenario, it is Bisu. Now, instantly when I look at this map and seeing the spawns, very far forward third base for Protoss, mineral only. Do you think Bisu can even expand there? Is he forced to take bottom left as his third base?
Well, as long as if he's playing like the map Eclipse, where you kind of rely on heavy macro style, like a 12-minute 1-1 upgrade with about 150-ish supply count, like with a total 8 gateway heavy macro playstyle, then yeah, he can kind of play like Eclipse map where he can just expand towards the 6 o'clock instead of taking that mineral expansion. And we are seeing he put down the pylon and not going for the scout, so Bisu is prepared for the gateway opening, or maybe he might still go for the 12 Nexus once again. Okay, we see his probe is finally moving out to the natural.
This is a good mind game from Bisu. Show the guy you're playing against that you really want to go for 12 Nexus a couple times, then all of a sudden you might force him into a unoptimal opening versus a gateway expand, which we're seeing right here. Soma is going to get down his 11 hatch in time, so this is going to be great for him. Probe not, or just barely not in the nick of time to deny it. And okay, is he going to fake a cannon rush? We saw, I can't remember again if it was rain. Well, it was definitely rain. I don't know if it was Sulky versus Sulky or versus Soma, the fake cannon rush, but not going to be the case. I like how Soma pulled a drone, though, because, of course, he has no vision there.
Yes, that probe is now starting to harass here with the behind of the mineral line, but he cannot be overextended there, because nowadays every single Zerg player kind of does Hydro Micro, just constantly chasing the worker. And yeah, I guess Bisu is trying his best to tickle those drone as much as possible to annoy him, so he can kind of ruin up his optimization there. And with this Zealot opening, he started out with the 10 gateway. He needs to earn lots of benefit and lots of trade there.
That could have been dangerous for Soma to lose that drone. And I mean, it's annoying to deal with. He's done a really good job. And think about this. He's microing the drone in the center of the map while also microing drones in his main. That probe should have gotten a few drones dangerously low, which means this Zealot, if it can connect even just 1 or 2 hits, may be able to knock down a couple of the drones. But for now, he's going to back off with these 2 Zealots. He sees that the Forgelings are already out in the map. Behind this, he has built the Nexus, no Forge, so this is going to be a little bit faster for him.
Yeah, I'm looking at Bisu as the main base. He put down the third pylon, skipping the assimilator and putting down the forge first. Normally, since you have 3 Zealot and you can easily defend these number of Zergling in the early stage of the game, but I guess Bisu does not feel comfortable. He really wants to put down forge before gas, and you can see Soma already has gas and Bisu doesn't. So that's a sign that Soma is going to be slightly ahead with the tech timing. And Bisu doesn't have any tech yet.
And that is a battery. Is he going to cancel it at the last moment? The answer is no. He did see a lot of Lings be built with his probe that's still alive. But Soma is not committing to this. So that's not only 100 minerals that is not going to help Bisu, at least not right now, but also takes up space for building cannons. So in the near future, a Hydra attack could be devastating. Probe somehow gets past these 4 Lings and into the main base and will confirm that, oh no, he does not, just barely gets it taken out, so he doesn't know if this is Lair or Hydrogen follow-up.
Yeah, Cybernetics score now just started, and I would like to see the Spire tech timing from Soma. And like I said from game number 1, your Stargate must be more than 50% done when Zerg starts the Lair tech, but now this is a different game scenario. He's now pressuring Soma. Bisu's trying to force him to make more Zergling here, but the number of Zergling is really, really large.
Ooh, that was I thought that was going to be a good drone pull and bug out the AI of the Zealots, but they ended up not attacking, and now Bisu is into a great position behind the mineral line. Meanwhile, sneaking a Zealot to the third base, gets 1 drone kill. He sees a drone cycle there, so he should be confident that this is probably Lair opener from him. Lings are moving into position to take down that third Zealot over on the left side. It does get taken down, and the Spire has already started. And you're talking about how the Spire's in a good timing if the Stargate is less than 50%. Stargate is just barely at 50%, way ahead of the last, or the Spire's way ahead of the Stargate from the previous 2 games. And we do have another Ling engagement. Look how thick those Zealots are trading on the left side.
Yeah, those Zealots are just efficiently trading against Soma's Zergling. And we can see once again, well, this time he's not going for a double Stargate.
Yep, just a single Stargate. I didn't notice if that cybernetics was spinning or not. I actually don't think it was. And yeah, Bisu realizes that this shield battery is a liability. He's going to knock it down. A wasted investment for him. Not a big deal, but it could have streamlined his build a little bit faster because shield battery is 100 minerals. Imagine if that cybernetics was, 15-20 seconds faster. Meanwhile, Hydrogen going down at the third base. 4th hatch going up for Soma 2. And the first Corsair is out, but he's got to be careful because Scourge are going to be out in the map momentarily.
Well, the first Corsair is trying to hunt that overlord, but at the same time we are seeing Soma. I guess he's lacking with the worker count, but he has decent amount of money, so I have a feeling he might gonna go for 5 Mura with some Scourge with the timing attack here. And that supply count does not seem that great for Soma here, 38 versus 62. And Bisu this time, hopefully he doesn't miss the gateway timing. That's what he really wanted for the late game transition here after the Corsair usage.
Another small move out, 5 Zealots. Lings take down one of them in an instant. Sair is almost gets intercepted by both of the Scourge. For now, it is going to survive, but it's got to run for its life. Meanwhile, still no movement from Bisu. Okay, now he's moving out again with his 4 to 5 Zealots, and he's going to see if he can get some more Ling kills. Overlords or something spots it. I guess it's a Scourge. And again, that's a full surround on a single Zealot, and another great trade for Soma.
That Corsair is still being alive. I mean, it did get one hit by the Scourge, but as long as you don't lose those Corsair, it's going to be very useful later on for Bisu with the +1 Corsair and +1 Zealot. But I'm seeing Soma. He's down on a 50 supply count, but he has been squishing all of his resource for mass Hydraless. And Yeah, Bisu definitely aware of it. Has 2 gateway and adding more gateway.
Yep. And that is 9 zealots out on the map, so that's a lot of DPS for him. Soma, I'm noticing only... is that only 4 hatches? Okay, there is the 5th hatch up there, but as you stated, the drone count seems pretty darn low for him, so he's not going to explode up to even supply with Bisu anytime soon, I don't think. For now, Bisu just needs to make sure he doesn't bleed off any zealots.
Yeah, zealots are running away. Still trying to look for an open gap to harass or even buy some time, but I think Bisu might wanna change his unit composition here. I mean, it's just too many zealots.
Yeah, just like the other day where Rain was going super heavy zealot. Again, Bisu has the same comp. I noticed also the cybernetics is not spinning, so that means there's not going to be any range for the goons anytime soon. Robo also not started. That's another sign, of course. And if this is the lurker contain, he could be in a bit of trouble. Just now the Robo started. I think just now the Templar Archive finished. So Templars just now started, really. Storm is a long ways away. And a lurker switch could be devastating, and we know that's in Soma's arsenal for sure.
Yeah, those number of Corsairs are still doing some great work. And I like how Bisu not making more than 5 Corsair, because as soon as he knows like the 3rd expansion was taken at the minor expansion, Zerg does not have any opportunity until... Well, he can still afford to put some like 1 or 2 lurkers, but those Vespene gas needs to spend for something else, just like Hydralist attack upgrade and lurker upgrade on the way. Okay, he's making 6 lurkers yeah, he should be getting it on time.
Oh, this feels like a confident attack. His Templars barely have enough energy, and he just instantly moved across the map. It's also right before the lurkers hit, but he does have 2 more storms available. Okay, he's not going to be able to blanket the eggs.
Oh.
Lurkers do morph. He gets a connection onto a lot of hiders and a lot of drones, and those Sayers are starting to rack up kills. He's gotten like 4 or 5 Overlord kills. And sure, there are lurkers set up, but the majority of them are at the natural, but all the damage is at the 3rd base. And somehow, Bisu kills like almost 10 Overlords, and he gets away with the majority of his army.
Yeah, you don't really get to see this kind of situation. I mean, he lost drone, he got supply block for the whole long time, and now he has to remake it. And I kind of dislike how Soma does not have any air carapace.
Yeah, he doesn't. That's true. And now I have to point out that cybernetics again not spinning. However, it has been more than 2 minutes since we last saw it, and I think the range upgrade is about 1 minute and 40 seconds. So range could be done, but this could be a mistake if he doesn't have range. He's got a couple Templars though. He has an overwhelming amount of units. I don't think a lurker contain can get set up by Soma right now. Instead, he is going to back off. And even after losing so many Overlords, surprisingly, Soma's done a good job to catch up in terms of supply, but he's still massively behind. Oh my god, there are just so many Overlords all right next to each other. I'm so worried that another engagement like that is just going to be the end of the game, because I don't think Soma can recover from having to build 20 Overlords at around the 10 to 15 minute mark. I mean, that's 2,000 resources, and we know Bisu's already popped like 10 Overlords.
Well, I'm kind of curious why Bisu decided to take the minor expansion first instead of taking the 6 o'clock expansion, because for Protoss, whenever you're facing against Zerg, you kind of want to have lots of Vespene gas so you can start making lots of High Templar and goons to fight back, but I guess he kind of wants to have more mineral income here, and now Soma is about to attack and try to draw some attention, but none of the High Templars are going to be falling into those type of trap.
Yeah, the mineral only, of course, has no gas, which Protoss players desperately need. But if you look at that small pathway to the 3rd base, it is very tight. So if there is a big Hydra Lurker attack in that particular spot, storms would just wreak havoc. So that could be a reason that Bisu wants to take it, limit the amount of surface area that Hydras and Lurkers can actually get done. This is a 50 supply lead for Bisu already. It's 167 to 120, but Zerg has some of the best defense in the game, but this may just be a little bit too much to overcome. Here comes Bisu. He's got multiple observers, 3 of them in fact. He's still got the Corsairs. That's a nice pickoff onto one of the observers already, and he does have 3 Templars. That's kind of a whiff of a storm. I think actually Beast might have to turn around, but instead he's going to go for it. Zealot's now leading the charge. Okay, no, they are turning around. Goons are still racking up kills on these Lurkers. It's now almost a 60 supply lead.
Yeah, these number of goons are just kind of trying to be on a position to whether he wants to break or whatnot. But now Soma will be rotating a couple of his Hydralisks at the bottom middle. But the photon cannon nor the Nexus hasn't started yet, and now Bisu is gonna be moving out, and I like how he's just having all the Zealots standing at the back, using those Goon and High Templar, walking forward, finding a great place to use the nice Side Storm, and that's hurting Soma's eco so much.
Yeah, I think this is just over. There was a nice backstab from Soma, but when there's a backstab, that means that army is not part of your real army. And that means Bisu's going to easily plow through. I don't necessarily think having the extra 10 Hydras or so would have made a difference because there's such a massive supply lead. And Bisu's going to go up 2-1 in this series, and he's looking very, very strong, especially with that Corsair control that we were talking about earlier. It racked up so many kills in this game.
Yeah, Bisu's Corsair micro is just so hard to copy. I mean, Zerg was just AFK, not watching his overlord, but you may think it like that, but in reality, if you're trying doing the Corsair micro to hunt those Zerg's overlord, I mean, they always respond so quick, and you almost never get overlord. But this game was just so nice how well Bisu just draw the attention with Mass Zealot and this Corsair just constantly sniping all those overlords.
Yeah, and I really liked his second attack with the Zealots and the Templars, just the 3 Templars. It was a confident attack because I don't think there was a power spike other than the Storm, of course. Like, there wasn't +1 armor, there wasn't Goon range, and there could have been a Muta switch to pick off the Templars. But he was just so confident that this was the move. This is what I'm talking about. And the Corsairs racked up so many kills, and he just knew that he had done decimating or a ton of damage to the drone line earlier, that he could make a move like this. It was absolutely perfect, and this really did Soma in. I mean, look how many overlords he kills. He goes down to like 22 available supply, I think, from I don't know what 80. So that's like 8 overlords, something like that. It was just ridiculous amounts of damage. And the key thing here was he also escapes with 10 zealots at the top side of the map. Just fantastic.
Yeah, drawing the attention at the multiple screen and just constantly doing what Bisu really needed to do in that game number 3. I mean, well, I guess Bisu had a lot of pressure. I mean, of course he does know Allegro is not a good map for Protoss to play against Zerg, and he just keeps aiming for the early stage of the game.
We're going into a break, and then we'll be back with Game 4 in just a moment. We are back, and our fourth map is going to be Eclipse. This is Bisu's pick. He's up 2-1. So one game away from taking our third place match. And you know he desperately wants it. He really wants to be a medal finisher. And of course, Soma wants to prove he is no slouch either. He's shooting for the bronze medal here. But so far, Bisu has got the best of him. And I don't know, I always have a tough time reading Soma. Like, when I see his reactions like this, it makes me seem like he's down in the dumps, but also he's a stone cold killer, so he may not be affected by it at all. But right now, after that third game, I think he's thinking, I really got to pull it together, otherwise Eclipse is probably going to be, or could be, my last map.
Yeah, Eclipse is one of the map that Protoss really love to play against Zerg, and even playing against Terran is really, really fun. As Protoss, because you can do lots of crazy stuff, like you can do photon cannon rush, you can go for blind 12 nexus, or just anything is possible for Bisu. So yeah, I guess players are ready. We're gonna be moving to game number 4, Soma versus Bisu on Eclipse.
이클립스에서 게임을 시작합니다.
Okay, in the bottom left, in the red, needs a win here, otherwise he is done. It is Soma. And in the bottom, or sorry, not the bottom, in the top right, our Protoss, it is, of course, Bisu. So far we've seen 12 Nexus, Forge into Nexus, and Gateway into Nexus. So we've seen pretty much every variation that Protoss has to throw out at Zerg. And map data says this is actually Zerg favored, 17-13.
Well, both of the players have fantastic win rate on this map. Soma has 6 wins and 1 loss, and Bisu has 6 wins with 2 losses. Almost very similar looking information. And since Bisu is leading this best of 5 game 2-1, so yeah, why not just gamble once again to go for blind 12 nexus once, because you failed the blind 12 nexus in their game number 1, and why not just try it again?
I was thinking the same thing. Oh, okay. The Forge is going to go on the top, right? As soon as I saw that, I'm like, wait a minute. That Forge can't fit between the gateway and the pylon anymore, but I guess the Forge is just going to go at the top. And it is going to be a gateway expand, so no 12 Nexus, no gamble here. And it's going to be running into an overpool, which is going to be fine for both players.
That is an interesting gateway placement. I never have seen someone ever putting down the gateway 32 pixels above the pylon like that, so Forge will, of course, won't be fitting in there. And I see Soma has gone for overpull and putting down the hatchery.
Yep, probe unable to pylon block that, so Soma's going to get that up and running pretty quickly. And again, Dennis the Menace here, that probe, he's just trying to get as much damage done onto this drone line as he can, so he can get potentially 1 or 2 probes into one-shot range from a Zealot if he can sneak it across the map. But with the overpull, that should keep the Zealots back. They're going to show themselves, or no, he is just going to avoid that center overlord for now. Now it's only 2 lings for Soma because, remember, he doesn't know that this is Gateway Expand. It could have been Forge Expand. This is his first whiff that it is actually a Gateway Opener. And now his lings are turning around, just going to try and get back to help defend versus this Probe and Zealot combo. But of course, 1 Zealot, 1 Probe is going to beat 2 lings, so he needs to be careful. For now, the Zealot does not commit. He is just going to back off.
Well, here's the one thing I really like about Bisu's play here. He was pretending that he wanted to attack the front, but he decided not to go. But gotta be careful with your scouting probe because there are total 4 lings, 3 Zerglings are already out on the map. I guess Bisu decided to pull back all of his Zealot instead of hiding at the Soma's third expansion behind of the mineral line, but he won't be. And we are seeing Forge is going up at the main base, and gas has gone up at gas has gone up, but it's not mining yet. But I'm seeing Soma starting the lair attack.
Yeah, I'm honestly confused at this gateway position. In fact, I'm pretty confident to say that this was just a misplace, which happens sometimes. But at the same time, this is probably the best Protoss versus Zerg player we've ever seen in all of history. So he may be putting the cybernetics at the top. He may just have putting it in this position because he thinks the Nat will get busted by hiders and he wants to save the Forge. But that is just such a huge double gap at the... Okay, there's the cybernetics. But, I mean, this was a real dangerous situation. If Soma had rushed speed, for example, maybe he could have made something happen. But as played, Bisu doesn't really get punished.
Yeah, I think the gateway placement wasn't an intention for Bisu here. Speed leading is not done yet, but the number of Zerglings are running away to the top side, so Bisu might needs to be very careful, because if those Zergling gets the metabolic boost and go for the backstab immediately, and Soma immediately decides to make all those reinforcement with mass Zergling, and okay, yeah, I guess those Zerglings wanted to pick up one of the Zealot, but did not work out so well.
You know, what I was looking at was that Spire timing relative to the Stargate timing. It's way ahead of the Stargate timing, and I was thinking, okay, well, maybe Bisu will go into double Stargate again, simply to just not get overrun by Muta Scourge. Speaking of getting overrun, that's an overwhelming amount of links, and he does catch all 5 of the Zealots. The Stutter Step Micro was about as good as it can possibly be, but you just can't beat this amount of lings, and Soma's going to wipe all of the Zealots off the map. And that's a big drone cycle too, and he transfers a good amount of them to the third base, so he's going to have good saturation going into the mid game.
And we are seeing the Spartak is going up, and the Corsair still hasn't popped out from the Stargate, so yeah, Bisu's the first thing that he really needs to be working on would be that sending the first Corsair all the way to Soma's Natural to figure out whether the second gas has started or whatnot, or even the higher than started or whatnot. And yeah, he needs to make some decision making with this first Corsair finally moved up, but I'm checking on a minimap that Soma has not put down the hydrogen at all, so we are seeing Soma already making the second gas and no hydrogen whatsoever.
Yep, and again, Bisu needs to be careful because Scourge are already done and he almost runs into them. For now, the Scourge will get away. There's that second gas as you were mentioning. 3 on gas, no drones on minerals. There's the hydrogen, 4th and 5th hatchery too. Here comes the Zealot move out, but I think Mutas are in production, and they're probably going to intercept these Zealots, which don't have speed yet either. So we may see another 4 or 5 Zealots just instantly get killed.
Yeah, those 5 Zealots, I guess Bisu wanted to draw some of the attention, but those number of Mutalists will easily defend. And the number of drone is really large for Soma here. I'm seeing... yeah, there's a hydrogen. Okay, so I guess Soma just kind of wanted to have that quick second gas to put down, to get those 5 Muta and some Scourge out on the map really fast here. And I guess he is not interested of going for heavy Muta Scourge playstyle.
Yeah, this is the dream situation for Soma right now. He's taken no damage to 2 move outs. He killed the first round of move outs with just lings. He's gotten Mutas, which force out more Sares, and he just drones behind it with 5 hatchery, even forcing Bisu to put additional cannon in his main and natural. And this time around, Soma definitely not going to get busted by a Zealot Templar timing. That's 100% not happening. And now we just have to wait and see what he wants to do in the mid game. Are we going to see a lurker contain, or are we just going to see mass hydras? We've really only seen one game that was a lurker contain in the Sulky series. Just never really, or Zerg players just don't seem to really favor the lurker contain, at least in ASL just yet.
Well, there's a couple of things I heard by Zerg players that whenever you're attacking in terms of like a horizontal or like a horizontal bust, like in this type of position where Bisu has to shoot those photon cannon from right to the left or left to right, that kind of scenario, then I heard it's much easier to bust instead of busting from top to bottom or bottom to top, like map Butter. Butter is a definitely hard map to bust, but Eclipse, I heard when Protoss is spawn at 1 o'clock, it's easy to bust. But before that, we are seeing once again sniping one of the Overlord, and the number of drones are doing some more body blocking and picking up those Zealot. Nicely done.
Yeah, he only loses one drone there. I guess 2 or so mutas ended up dying to the cannon. Okay, a Zealot is going to rack up some more kills. Soma doesn't notice, and now a full drone pull. So this attack was denied, but now a single Zealot getting a couple more kills, but it does trigger a big attack from Soma. And this is what I was waiting for, is you know those Sares are killing that Overlord because it's intending to sneak in a DT, and he kills another Overlord, so this DT will shut this base down for a few more seconds. In desperation cannons for Bisu. This looks very reminiscent to the Allegro game I was referencing the other day. It's so many Hydras in the front. Is there Storm available? There is enough energy, but the upgrade's not done just yet. Okay, it finishes just barely in the nick of time. The cannons are desperately trying to get up. I think they will complete, but is it enough? It's 1 cannon down, 2 cannons down, third one morphing in, 3 cannons down. Just barely. Bisu's gonna hold this.
Well, this multitask, the concentration of these two players is just so insane. I mean, those 6 Corsair was doing such a nice job, and we just finally see the unit interface showed us the DT just now died, and I don't recall how much of a drone still remaining for Soma, but but the number of Hydra doing tons of damage here. And like I said, I mean, busting from like this kind of position where cannon shooting from the shooting to the right or left, it's kind of harder than you think to defend the Hydraless bust.
Yeah, well, even though the third base was shut down for quite a while from Bisu's great Corsair and DT harassment, Soma's managed to keep the supply even. So he's still in a fantastic position. His attack killed a lot of cannons, forced a lot of resources into those cannons, and obviously that's not going to help Bisu going into mid-game. Now, that drone is going to, okay, he's going to take the 4th base for now, and Soma looks fantastic. I mean, look how small that army Bisu has right now. I mean, he really can't do much with it. He's going to move out for now, but how far can he go? Scourge are going to connect onto one of the Sares. Trying to get a couple more. Can he get away? The answer is he gets no. He's going to lose another Sare. That was nicely done from Soma.
Well, those Corsairs has taken so much hit by the Scourges, and we are seeing the drone saturation is looking great, but Bisu is here once again moving out with Zealot and the 2 High Templar, but I think this army is just somewhat too small to fight against Soma's army. Look at the supply count. I mean, 95 versus 106. This is really doable for Soma, because Hydraless only costs every single Hydraless only costs 1 supply, and Zealot costs 2 supply. And of course, we can see the supply is even. That means the army value is much valuable than Bisu's army, and those Hydralisks are somewhat out of position, and now that's the number of Hydralisks really a lot.
Yeah, he does need to be careful not to get caught like that. That was another great storm dodge. This time around, the second storm does connect for a little bit of damage, but as you stated, it's pretty much even supply, and generally Zerg wins those fights, especially when there's a lack of storm now. I think there's only 1. That's a pretty good storm. Actually, that's a really good storm. But now, there's just too many Hydras. He's going to be attacking into high ground, which may not be ideal, but actually Bisu needs to run away. Not sure what his upgrades are right now, but I'm sure +1 is done for Zerg. Yeah, it is done.
Okay, now those 3 Zala will be spotting the 4th expansion, and Bisu, he does have a lot of Vesping gas, and I'm not sure what he's really thinking or what he really wants to do in this type of game scenario. I mean, if the game goes longer like this more and more, and Soma has been mining that 3rd gas for a long time, so that's a sign for Soma should be transitioning into Mass Electro momentarily. And Bisu really needs to break, or he really needs to move out and kind of have to have some opportunity to have some map control, and even go for the gateway. Lots of gateway and making lots of good to fight against mass Hydralisk.
Yeah, this is just so many Hydras. I think that Templar had double Storm. That's a big clump of Hydras right there. Pretty good connection right there. But look at all the Templars on the right side. They don't have enough energy. They have 72 energy. He picks off another Templar. That Templar now has the energy for another Storm. But there's no Zealots left over. Meanwhile, Bisu's trying to go for a drop in Corsair combo. But there's so many hatches. It doesn't matter. He's going to try and take a third base, but that's going to get instantly canceled because there's just so many Hydras. And this is looking like it's a prime position for Soma to take this game, but there's so many drones there. It's like upwards of 15 or so. Doesn't unload a Templar or a DT. Okay, now the DT gets unloaded. He's into the natural. He's shutting down the main. This is one way Bisu can come back, but there's just so many Hydras.
Yeah, this shuttle is just gonna be dove into top of mass Hydralisk. I mean, the game has gone for almost 15 minutes long. Main base is already mined out for Bisu. Bisu still having that number of Vespin gas floated. I think he really needs to convert those Vespin gas for something else. I mean, he needs Gun to fight against Protoss, Zerg's mass Hydralisk army. And yeah, we can see one lurker egg in the middle there. That's a sign that Soma will be having enough gas for mass lurker in the future.
Yeah, I think the gap is just too big. It's a 30 supply lead for Soma. And generally, once it gets to a state like this, it's almost unwinnable for Protoss unless they've got like a super comp like Mass Reaver, a lot of Storm, like heavily upgraded units, which he does have. But Zerg already has +2 weapon on his Hydra, so he's matching the upgrades essentially. This is probably the last stand of Bisu. He doesn't have really any more Storms available, maybe one more. There's the Goons that you were talking about, but there's no Zealot support, and he taps out. And Soma, he's going to tie the series at 2-2.
Well, I guess the moment when Bisu was doing the multitask Soma's third expansion with the Corsair and DT, and he was getting busted by the mass Hydralisk, I think maybe Bisu did lose quite a lot of worker that he kind of had to just rely on those early Zealot aggression and try to somehow make some comeback, but it did not work out so well.
Yeah, well, remember his first move out with the 5 Zealots got shut down by Lings, and then Mutas killed the second move out. And then behind that, of course, he has to respect a Muta attack, so he builds cannons. But we saw Soma, he just droned like a madman. And I think it's just one of those situations where you donated a few too many units, and, the opponent can just power really hard. And they just had an overwhelming econ going into the mid game. And eventually that sets up a victory for Soma. And we're going to be going into our final match. It's Game 5, Butter. But of course, we got a break. And then we'll be back to find out who's going to be our third place finisher. This is it, guys. This is the final game in our third and fourth place match. Series is tied 2-2, and players have decided to risk it all on butter. There was Metaverse bans and Monopoly bans. So this is going to be another two-player map. We just saw Eclipse, which is a two-player map. And honestly, Soma just crushed Bisu here, so he's going to have to come up with something special in Game 5.
The map butter, like I said, in game number 4, since everything's shooting from top to bottom, bottom to top, you can't really do Hydraless bus for Soma, and Bisu definitely knows about it. And of course, Bisu, not sure whether he will be doing Gateway Expand or even blind 12 Nexus once again, or maybe it can be for Forge Expand, and finds out Soma doing the 12 hatchery and go for the cannon rush or whatsoever. I don't know what Bisu will be doing, but the thing I can definitely figure out from this map butter, Soma has to play for Lair Tech and just have to go for mid and late game potential where he can just turtle up like how he was doing against Rain, and he managed to win the game at the last second.
Yeah, that was one of the best ZVPs I've ever seen. Like, there were multiple points in the game where you're like, okay, this player's going to win. Okay, this player's going to win. And then there was this huge attack from Rain, and it brought it back into his favor, but Soma stabilized amazingly and ended up taking that game. So hopefully we can get another game like that. But this is, as I mentioned, the last map of the day. Let's see what race is going to seal the victory. Is it going to be Protoss or is it going to be Team Zerg?
버터에서 게임을 시작합니다.
Okay, in the bottom right, our blue Zerg, it's Soma, and in the top right, the red Protoss, a legend, it is Bisu. Now you're talking about why not just go for the gamble 12 Nexus on Eclipse. You thinking he should gamble here? Should he really risk it all on a 12 Nexus in Game 5, or do you think we're going to see a standard opener from Bisu?
Well, if I look at the map butter, there's a really small chance that Soma will be doing 9 pull. And I mean, if you just look at the map design, from main base to the main base, the rush distance is really far. And even including those not the cross, from natural to natural, the distance is really far as well. So of course those are the two reasons why Terrans do not do the cheese rush against Protoss. And of course, you can do the same thing as against Zerg as well, because if he ever does 9 pull, you can have that nice SimCity to defend, putting down the forge at the left side and then putting the gateway on the right side, and there's a one small gap between those two buildings, and somehow manage to hold off, since 9 pull won't be coming to his natural that fast. And we are seeing, like I said, he will be doing the forge, and if he ever finds out this is a 12 hatchery, it's going to be the cannon rush.
Okay, well here comes that probe, and here comes another drone to make sure that that does not happen. Okay, first shot goes to the drone, so that means that the probe should not be able to fight. Will he? Oh my gosh, I can't believe that pylon got up. He needs to get another one down, and he does. Now remember, we had a fake in an earlier series, so this doesn't have to be... Well, we know that it is a cannon rush, but Soma may not think that it is a cannon rush just yet. He's pulling another probe, actually, and that's exactly what you need to do, is you need to try and glitch. Oh my gosh, he cancels it just barely in the nick of time. But the drone gets into the sweet spot. The probe can't hit it?
Well, it did get into the sweet spot, as you say, but I'm wondering if the cannon HP does seem like it's going up much quicker than lowering down the HP, so I guess that photon cannon will be finished on time.
Yeah, I'm thinking that it's going to finish on time too. Now, this second probe, what's it up to? Is he going to try and put down another cannon here? Okay, he does. He really wants to make sure that this hatchery does not get up and running. He does not want the sunken to range the cannon from a distance. And Soma's in trouble. Like, also, you have to consider that this is butter. Like, look at the cannon. Look how close it is to the entrance.
Wow.
If he gets cannon contained here, he's never getting out. I can't even believe that cannon ranges the sunken. This might already be game over. So the Lings are trying to desperately save the day. Probe is not able to get into that spot to block the Lings from getting in. Somehow the cannon died, even though it had 60 health.
Well, those two cannon was taken down by the two Zerglings, but now Creek Colony is getting targeted, and I guess he's gonna be ignoring all those Zergling and will be taking down the sunken immediately. But now Zerglings was not attacking that third photon cannon, so there was a huge DPS help by Bisu. It was kind of help for Bisu to take those 4 Zergling easily, and now this is not totally looking great. I mean, he's affording another sunken colony, so he just lost those 3 drone in the early stage, and now Bisu is queuing up more worker at the main base, and I see another tiny building going up at the natural, so that must be rain. Bisu is preparing for the expansion moment in the future.
I think this is it. Scan. The cannon's gonna complete. Oh, maybe not. The sunken is. I forgot is in range of that cannon. The cannon at the back line is still up though, and Bisu's gonna go for a counterattack with his Lings. As you mentioned, there is another dot at Bisu's main. That could be a cannon already set up.
Do you see that sunken range?
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, I see that. It's a glitch. If Sunken is attacking the pylon and the photon cannon is attacking the hatchery at the same time, that Sunken gets the bonus range, and it can actually attack from the outside of the range. So that was what was going on in Bisu. That's why he was kind of like microing his photon cannon, not attacking the hatchery. And yeah, somehow Soma did manage to hold that cannon rush, but just by looking at the number of worker count and how fast the gateway is and how late Soma's gas is, this just not looking great. I mean, Cybernetic score already started.
Yeah, and you were talking about Spire to Stargate timing earlier. This Stargate is going to be started before Soma may even mine gas. So we may see the 5 hatch before gas style, which we've seen players like Effort pull out in the past. But this was obviously not the ideal opener for Soma, and Bisu's got to be feeling really great about the amount of damage he'd done. I thought the game was over from the cannons, but just barely. Soma is going to survive for now. There's the 4th hatch. First Zealot moving across the map. It's gone unscouted.
Yeah, 1 Zealot is gonna be, once again, he's gonna be fine. He's looking for another sweet spot where he can hide that single Zealot, and the Cybernetic score is already done. Bisu has the Stargate started. Soma still not mining the gas. Okay, there are 3 drones already to get inside of that extractor. Yeah, this is a huge trouble for Soma. I mean, he does not have any intel how fast the Stargate is, but he can feel it that his tech is not fast for Soma. He's definitely queuing up more of a drone to keep up. Somehow he wants to keep up the game, but it's just not too ideal for him.
Oh my gosh, how does he miss that Zealot? He's going to be looking for that forever, and he's just never going to find it. 5th hatch not up for Soma yet either. I think that's a Hydra Den that just went down in his main, so that's how he's going to deal with the Corsairs. I mean, look at this. He knows it's there. He knows that you're around here somewhere, man. Where are you? But Bisu a little bit too clever, and now 3 Zealots are going to move out onto the map and try and put some pressure down. Wow, he's going to... This is so heartbreaking for Soma fans, because he knew that it was just hanging out and he just couldn't find it.
Yeah, now he sees that Zealot coming in. He's about to pull his drone. Gotta be careful. Oh, are you gonna do the drone drill? Never mind, it's not gonna be working out. The meta Okay, that's a nice route of picking the Zealot.
Yeah, that was a crucial catch right there because it's like 9 lings. It would have been 9 lings versus 4 zealots, and I think the zealots would have won that fight. But still a good positioning of the zealots right here, sitting in a very solid spot. And look at this, 3 versus 5 lings. Obviously, the zealots are going to win that overwhelmingly. Forces a sunken, forces more lings, and meanwhile there are corsairs in the main harassing overlords. You may even get a double overlord kill.
Yeah, these type of playstyle right now Bisu is doing. It's just so fantastic, and we are seeing more gateway going up. Cyber, what's it called? The Templar Archive is already going up, so that's a good sign for Bisu this time because he got busted by the mass Hydralisk 2 times in a row on Vermeer and Eclipse. Was it? Yeah, it was Eclipse. So he should have learned the lesson, and now this time he's getting the Templar Archive really fast. That's a sign that he'll be getting the High Templar. After these speed lot with the +1 attack, and yeah, Soma still needs his time to have this nice MCD. The lair attack is done. That's a good for him, but he can't really do anything until he has all those mass Hydralisks.
Yeah, I love how Bisu's ramping up his gateway count very fast. He's up to 6 right now. He knows the position he's in. He just wants to keep the pressure on. Make sure that this guy cannot drone. Oh no. He pulled his drones there, which doesn't look like a big deal. But that's probably like 50 or so minerals lost right there. He can't decide whether he wants to mine minerals or gas. Soma's just really falling apart here. He's just in such a dire situation. And we're going to see most likely an attack that we saw on Allegro. The first couple of Templars are moving out. Those lings don't even have speed, so they can't really run away from the zealots to surround the Templars. And Soma is in big time trouble. This is 2 Templars that have gotten across the map unscouted. And there's Sayers in the main doing something. I don't know if he actually got a kill or not.
Yeah, now those zealots and even 2 High Templars are ready. I mean, I guess this is something like a Bisu's playstyle where he aimed for the specific timing attack before Zerg has the critical Hydralisk mass, and a 2 sunken colony is definitely going to be helping him a lot. But where is the second High Templar? Okay, there it is. Okay, well, now we see that the nice huge Psystorm has gone up on top of the Hydralisk, and now this number of zealots is so huge. Where are the Soma's army?
He just doesn't have any. There's no hydras on the left side, and that's just going to be it. He taps out. So congratulations to Bisu. He's going to finish ASL Season 13 in 3rd place. Looked very, very strong, and unfortunately another disappointing finish for Soma. Did not want to get 4th place. I know a lot of fans were really rooting for Soma to even go to the finals, but this time around, not going to be the case, and he's going to be hoping to do better in ASL Season 14.
I don't really normally see Protoss moving out with 2 High Templar against Zerg because they're always afraid of losing their High Templar, and they just want to constantly make those mass zealot and corsair harassment. But that 2 storms it literally changed the game and the game right there.
Yeah, I mean, Zerg can't just sit behind a hatchery in a deep and in a sunken colony when there's storm. You have to actually fight, and I guess we're seeing why Soma didn't trade so effectively here. You see, he didn't even have range. So that was a very, very good timing for Bisu to strike, and it ends up sealing the game for him. You know, in this particular game, I was actually thinking, like, okay, well, if this guy's just going to sit behind Sunkens, why not go for Dragoons in range? I mean, you can, at minimum, range a hatchery and force the guy to fight, but, of course, Storm is another fine choice. I thought Soma was going to hold here with the drone drilling and the decent amount of Hydras, but it's just too many Zealots. Look how many there are. There's like 15 of them. And, of course, the Storms were fantastic.
Yeah, I suppose if it was just pure Zealot with Corsair attack, it would have been okay for Soma to defend because he can just abuse those the SimCity with the hatchery, sunken colony, and the Nebulotion chamber, whatever he was building. But I guess we'll be moving into this winner's interview. So this is ASL Season 13 third place match is now done. The player who will be getting into the third place is going to be Bisu. Congratulations. And it's been a long run for you. You haven't gotten into this semi-final or round of 4 for a long time, and how do you feel that you now got the third place? So Bisu is answering. He wasn't expecting that he will be making it into semi-final or round of 4, and he is kind of glad that he played well today.
시즌 4 이후에 정말 오랜만에 또 4강에 오르시기도 했고 16강에서 패배했던 박상현 선수를 상대로 또 오늘 3, 4위전에서 좋은 모습을 보여주셨는데요. 오늘 경기는 어떠셨나요?
So she said Bisu lost to Soma in round of 16, but now you showed us your true strength, and you were able to win this best of 5. And what are your thoughts about your game? And he says Soma, he kind of felt like his opponent Soma had something sloppy with his playstyle and with the decision making. So everything just kind of unlocked for him too, and also the build order wise as well.
영재한테 5경기에서 더블 넥서스를 성공하면서 그때 캐리어로 이길 때가 가장 기억에 남지 않나.
What is the most memorable game for you, Bisu? And Bisu answers, he says the round of 8 in this ASL Season 13 versus JYJ in the Metaverse. Game number 5. He started off with the 12 Nexus and winning the game with the carrier, so he felt really great about it. And big memorable game for him.
누구를 꺾어야겠다 이런 생각보다는 좀 잘못을 했기 때문에 팬분들한테 좀
So any last word and
좀 돌입을 했는데
to your fans or to your audience, and he
가지 못해가지고 좀 아쉬움이 많이 남지만 이제
he kind of feels he wants to apologize. He still wants to apologize to his fans about the CoinGate or aka Bitcoin stuff, the scandal, and he's kind of happy that his fans are still giving him another chance and rooting for him, supporting him to play this competitive scene still. And he also recently joined YSU, the Yumsuk University. It's a C's university. So he's glad that to be in that school, and he wants to say thanks to those university members, and he also wants to say thanks to one of the Korean celebrity, Park Wan-gyu, this Korean singer. They're really close friends, and he lost the credit of Bisu because of the Bitcoin scandal, and he wants to say pretty much apologizing to him. So he's pretty much saying thank you for the rooting his ASL run, and thank you for the interview. Congratulations once again for the third place.
Yep, congratulations to Bisu taking down Soma in a 3-2 result. We get the rundown here. Win for Soma on the first map, then back-to-back wins for Bisu. Then tying it up is Soma, and then Bisu sealing the deal in Game 5. But this is the real deal. This is going to be the finals on Saturday. Keep in mind, it is at 6 p.m., so it's 1 hour earlier than normal. Definitely don't show up late, because you may miss a game or two. As we stated earlier, this is in person, so if you are in Korea and want to check out ASL in person, as Scan mentioned, there are 514 seats available. That's quite a few tickets. You might be able to snag one and get to watch an ASL in person.
Well, I thought it was only 100 seats available, but now they somehow extended the seat. Maybe the policy has changed, so that's good for us. I mean, we get more chance of buying the tickets and watch on offline stage. So yeah, please check out the website on the Africa platform. And Yeah, that was an interesting best of 5 series of how Bisu. Bisu's PvZ is always different than other products. I mean, of course, I watched like the other products of how they are playing, like Ruin, Motive, Noob, and what other products I can think of. Like what?
Pain.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, not like those top level products. I mean, like the mid tier products. They don't really bring those two high Templars to execute your enemy before the range upgrade like that. I mean, yeah, it's not so common to see for me.
Yeah, I think the two moves or the two times he did it was Allegro and of course the last game Butter, and I think it was simply because he knew the position he was in. He knew that this guy can't have mutas. There's really no threat to his Templars getting picked off, and it was the right move. If this was a more normal-ish game where there was potential to get picked off by Templars or by mutas, I mean, for sure, I imagine for sure Bisu would not have made a move like that. What I was surprised to see was, Bisu is known for his harassment. He's known for the DT. But we only saw one DT, at least from what I remember. It was on Eclipse mid left. That was the only DT the entire series that Bisu built, I think. And that was just so uncharacteristic of Bisu. I mean, I was really not expecting him to just run over Soma. I thought if he was going to run him over, it was going to be with the harassment that he's really known for. But that was not the case.
Yeah, there wasn't that kind of a case. So it's not so easy to see. And yeah, the final the Light versus Rain. What do you think of that game? Who has more like higher chance of winning the ASL champ title, in your opinion?
Well, if you really want my opinion, I think late game Light is just unstoppable. I just don't know how you beat this guy. If he ever gets to that point, I've literally never seen him split a map and lose. So I think if he gets games where it goes split map like that, I think he's going to win. But Rain looked very good. He had very good harassment, not just in PvT games, but also in PvZ games that we've seen in the ASL. I think with the shuttle man style being very common these days, you could pick apart Light. And actually, I think I'm going to give it to Rain 4-3. That's my prediction. Even though I'm a big Light fan, I mean, Rain, he's just such a monster.
Yeah, Rain is definitely a strong player, and with the mind game as well, what we have seen in round of 4 against Soma. I mean, you like Rain, like you constantly doing the pylon scout and finding out Soma's base in a 4-player map with the first scout, and just everything just gets messed up for Soma's gameplays. And I wonder, for me, in my opinion, if Light ever makes a mistake in a 2-player map, there are the 2-player maps, Eclipse and Butter. Of course, it is going to be chosen by Rain. And if you make a simple mistake or small mistake here and there, that one mistake he ever made, it will be constantly snowball in the early stage of the game. And of course, 2-player map is so easy to abuse as Protoss, and that's something that Light really needs to be worried about, and how he needs to be responding to those type of strategy. And of course, you said it's the split map scenario. I have no doubt about it too. Light is definitely strong once you get into the split map scenario. And maybe if Rain does some type of like an early stage of a mining game, like Proxy Robo at like Terran's 3rd expansion, and just lift up all those gun, and then like short distance like gun drop and then into Reaper drop against like the Rex expansion. That would have been one of the cases I can think of, like how Light Mike can be dead in that kind of game scenario.
Yeah, definitely the case, or it could happen. We know Mini pulled that out in a previous ASL. But that's it for us today, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Congratulations to Bisu getting 3rd place. And we will be back on Saturday at 6 p.m. As I stated, it's 1 hour early, so definitely mark your calendars and meet and scan. We'll see you there, and we'll be crowning a champion.